Well, we're going live. We're going live on LinkedIn. We're going live on YouTube. And we are live with you on Zoom. I want to know where you're from. If you're joining us right now, post in the chat. Where are you from? Where are you tuning in from today? What is your business if you have a business? What kind of business are you in? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you a startup? Are you an SMB? Are you in the professional services business? Are you in retail, e-tail, creator? What kind of business are you in and where are you from? Post it in the chat right now. And in just 47 seconds, we're going to get started with our content today. We have a heck of a lot of content about content, and I'm super excited. Sam Nesbitt, my partner, my mentee, my head of sales for Apprentice, is with me today. Sam, share that screen so folks can get a taste of what is going to happen in the next 47 minutes. And I want to give shout outs to the people that are saying hello from DC, from New Orleans, from Hollywood. I spent 2 months in Hollywood, worst 2 months of my life, to be honest, but nonetheless. We got Mexico City in the house. That's right. We are global. We got Texas. God bless Texas. And of course, well, how exciting is this? The place where I was born and raised, Brooklyn, Sunset Park. I am from, Laura. Great to see you from Brooklyn. Oklahoma's in the house. Vegas, where Sam and I actually did our strategic planning for Apprentice for 2022. Love me some Vegas. Hell yeah, Brooklyn. By the way, Laura, they say 10% of the world once lived in Brooklyn. I'm just saying. We got more Brooklyn in the house. Sergio Bushwick in the house. Very similar vibe to Sunset Park. Whoa, I just need to say that we now have 3 Brooklynites. Brooklyn is taking over in this chat, so watch out. Where's my cover slide? Give me you advanced already on me, Sam. Take me back one day so I can see your smiling face. There you go. So all right, so this is back one more. See, this is the problem with giving control to my partner. It's okay though. I love Sam. So welcome to Webinar Wednesday, your content strategy for 2022. I am your host, serial entrepreneur, New York Times bestselling author, co-founder and co-CEO of Apprentice. And joining me today, making his debut as my co-host for a webinar, is Sam Nesbitt. Sam, say hello.
Hi, nice to meet everyone from all over. This is really exciting. Excited to be here.
And Sam, of course, is the VP of Marketing and Sales at Apprentice and the co-founder of Remembering.live and Celebrating.live. And he was my apprentice. That's how we met. And in just a couple of years, he's gone from being my apprentice to being an entrepreneur himself, doing just about $1 million in revenue. Pretty amazing story, thanks to Apprentice. Okay, keep it moving. Today, we're going to cover for you how to plan and create great content, emerging social media platforms such as TikTok and Instagram Reels, email marketing, blogging, and SEO, and of course, converting your content into leads and customers. This is what I'm most excited about because content strategy is great, but what's the point of content strategy if we don't convert them into leads and customers? Before we move on, because you guys are posting in the chat, I'm giving you shout outs too. East New York is in the house and Michigan. And feel free if you're just joining us to let us know where you are watching from and what kind of business you have. Of course, at the end, we'll have some Q&A and we have a grand prize. I'm going to give away a bunch of my books. That is right. You can win my books, but only if you hang around until the end and you are here. Okay, let's get started with and I'm going to move fast and furious, guys, but we are recording this. Y'all will get a copy of the recording after. So don't worry about it. If you miss what I'm talking about, I am a New Yorker and y'all have activated my New York mode. So this is why if I'm talking super fast for you Texans, no offense. If I'm talking fast for some of you, just remember it is recorded. So content marketing rule number 1, be consistent. You got to show up every day. You got to plan to be consistent. So many folks have good ideas, but then they lose their momentum, right? And even if you have good content today, even if you have good content tomorrow, you got to feed the beast. You got to keep planning for and distributing new content on a monthly, weekly, even daily basis. And I know that's a really scary and overwhelming to some of you all, but That is the name of the game here, guys. Yeah, people, the days of the destination web are long over, and you've got to feed the beast on a regular basis. Every brand is a publisher today. So if you're not publishing, you are missing out. You have to think of yourself as a media company, as a publishing company. Content marketing rule number 2, be useful. If your content isn't useful or valuable, then it's a waste. People ask me all the time, Dave, how much content should I produce? How much is too much? How much content is not enough? Well, here's the answer. The short answer is you could post content once a year. If the content's not valuable to your customers, it's too much content. And you could post once a month, but if the content is super valuable and digested by high-end customers that are and prospects that are going to take your content and turn into a multi-million-dollar customer, that's probably enough. So always don't think about necessarily about frequency, think about how useful and valuable you are being. Are you helping your customers? Are you educating them? Are you entertaining them? Are you helping move them forward? If you are with your content, great. If you're not, that's a problem. Content marketing rule number 3. I'm looking at LinkedIn. Let's go back to content marketing rule number 3. Be authentic. Authenticity breeds trust. And trust breeds business. Authentic, vulnerable content will resonate with people. Be authentic. Be yourself. And by the way, who should do that? It should start at the top with the CEO. So if you're watching and you're not the CEO, maybe you need to share this webinar with your CEO. CEO leads the way when it comes to content marketing and social media. The more employees, the more people at your company that are sharing authentic stories on behalf of the organization, the better. Content marketing rule number 4. Tie into your customers' emotions. If you can share content that taps into folks' emotions, it's going to resonate that much more. So think about some of the best TV commercials you've ever seen. They're the ones that really move you. They're the ones that make you cry. They're the ones that really make you laugh. You don't need to be Nike producing commercials, TV commercials, to create content on the web that resonates with your prospects and customers. But you do need to be creative, and you do need to really think about the problems that you're solving and how you are creating emotional connection. By the way, I'm going to do Q&A at the end, but if you have questions throughout, feel free to post them in the chat. And if they resonate with me, I'm going to jump in and answer them. So Bronson wants to know whether tapping into emotions matters in B2B services. Hell yes, absolutely. B2B, let me explain something. B2B, there's no such thing as B2B. It's B to H. You're still selling to a human being. You're still marketing to a human being. B2B customers are still human decision makers. And because they are human decision makers, our content absolutely should resonate with them still emotionally as human beings. It's very, very important. No matter what business you're in, we want our content to resonate with the individual decision makers. Because last time I checked, businesses weren't logging into Instagram to look at the content. Last time I checked, businesses weren't opening up emails. People were. So it's all about resonating with those people. Let's keep it moving. Content marketing rule number 5, be where your audience is. You can have great content, but it needs to go in the right places and with the right people. Pick and choose your social networks based on where your audience is. If you're not sure, ask your customers. Again, I get this question all the time. Dave, do I need to be on every social network? No, you do not. You really don't. Great news. But you need to be where your audience is. So think really, our B2B question, Bronson was asking about B2B. You need to be on LinkedIn. If you're in B2B, you have to be focused on LinkedIn for your content. If you are in e-commerce, you might want to focus on Pinterest with your content. If your audience is teenagers and 20-somethings, well, you darn well better be on TikTok with your content. So think really about where your audience is for how you apply all of these rules and all of the strategy. That's where your content should be, where your audience is. And if you're not sure, ask them. Say to your customers, say to your prospects, hey, do a quick survey. Where do you spend your time? which social network do you spend most of your time? And that'll help a lot. Content marketing rule number 6, advertise better. You don't have to spend a lot of money on advertising to be a great content marketer. Use some of the amazing tools on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok now to make sure your content is seen by more people and by the right people. There's a line in the movie The Social Network where Sean Parker says to Zuckerberg, "You know what's cooler than $1 million? $1 billion." My line is the opposite. You know what's cooler than reaching 1 billion people with your content? Reaching the right 1,000 or the right 100 or even in some cases the right 10 to move the needle. With Apprentice, I don't need to reach 1 billion people. I need to reach 1,000 small business owners and entrepreneurs that want to delegate to the best and smartest college students in the world. If I reach 1,000, I'm going to triple my business next year. Okay, keep it moving. Content marketing rule number 7, tell, don't sell. Okay, nobody wants to be sold to. Raise your hand if you love being sold to. No, nobody raised their hand. I know it, I can see. Actually, I can't see, but I'm just kidding. But nobody wants to be sold to, but everybody loves a good story. Storytelling has been key in the art of marketing since day one, since Adam said to Eve, "You got to try this apple." Storytelling is key. And if we think with principles of great storytellers instead of principles of great marketers or great salespeople, we will create content that really resonates with people and content that people want to share, right? That's the ultimate goal, is creating and sharing content that people are going to A, respond to, B, share with their networks of friends and colleagues. And then you've hit the content marketing jackpot. Okay, those are the rules. Now let's talk about strategy, scheduling your content. We just had an issue with some folks that were doing content marketing for Apprentice, and they were really concerned about being able to share content every day. And we said, great news. You can schedule your content out for the week or for the month. Now, I would not share all of my content. I would not schedule all of my content, rather. What I would do is schedule 4, or you can keep it coming, Sam. You're doing awesome, by the way. You can keep 4 or 5 posts per week schedule, but leave some open time for your sort of live trending posts. So for instance, TikTok and Instagram, in order to be successful in TikTok and Instagram in 2022, you really can't schedule that content out a month ahead of time. You simply can't. You have to be able to leverage the trending audio that's going on. And there's no way to know what the trending audio will be a month ahead of time. So you have to leave that part open. But if you want to schedule your LinkedIn content, your Facebook content, your email content, it'll keep you on time and on track. You can engage and retain your audience on their terms. You maintain that all important clarity and brand consistency. So you're not going 2 weeks without sharing content. A comprehensive audit leads the way forward, really looking hard at what your systems are that are in place in order to schedule the content ahead of time. And of course, allows you to be worry-free when you get super busy. The biggest thing that I see folks make the mistake on with social media and content marketing is they get really excited at a moment like this. And then when they get really busy, suddenly they go 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks without sharing any content. Deserted island syndrome, as I call it. That's not good. That's not good for your prospects. That's not good for your customers. So scheduling all this content ahead of time helps avoid the dreaded deserted island syndrome. All right, some quick tools to schedule your content: Sprout Social, HubSpot, which we're big fans of at Apprentice, Feedly, and TweetDeck. There are lots and lots of tools now. To me, more important than the tools is the strategy and making the commitment to do it. Some more great tools for you: Airtable, Plannable, Sked Social, and Post Planner. Remember, this is all recorded, so you will have lots of opportunity to look back and look at some of these tools later on. be open to being flexible. You know, Nike has been very, very flexible throughout the years, and it shows right here. And with content marketing too, you have to be able to be flexible. Right now, here in December of 2021, keep going, December of 2021, TikTok is where to be, but that might change in 6 months. So ideally, you have an adaptable brand and a responsive marketing campaign, so you can plan certain things, and you should plan certain things, but you have to have a nimble plan that allows you to take advantage of seasonal updates, that allows you to take advantage of new trends. Like, for instance, when TikTok and Instagram Reels have trending audio, you have to be able to jump in there and and create and share content that takes advantage of this. So how can you have a flexible identity system and a set of guidelines where certain things remain the same? Of course, the logo, brand positioning, typography, iconography. Maybe you have an intro and an outro on your videos, and all of that is consistent, and yet you are able to be flexible with trends. John wants to know about tags and hashtags. I mean, I could do a whole session just on that, but I will say very briefly that following hashtags to pay attention to the trends is very valuable. And then using hashtags, Instagram now recommends using 3 to 5 hashtags on your posts, no more. And I will say the exception to that is Reels, where you can use a lot of hashtags in Reels. And for discoverability, that can be very valuable. I like these questions throughout. It's keeping me on my toes. Thanks, guys. Keep it up. All right, keeping it moving. Let's talk about everyone's favorite social network or everyone's dreaded social network, depending on who you are. My guess is if you're watching this and you are under the age of 30, you are super into TikTok. It's like your favorite social network. It's where you're spending most of your time. If, on the other hand, you're watching this and you're over the age of, say, 40, you're probably like, oh, I cannot believe it. Dave, do I really have to do TikTok? I mean, really? I mean, isn't TikTok just for the kids? You really have to do TikTok, guys. A year ago, if I did this, I might have still been in that TikTok just for the kids camp. No more. Likeable social media, 4th edition, the next edition that will come out in a year, is going to have TikTok be a major, major part of things, because that is where people are going and spending so much of their time. And when I say people, I don't just mean the kids. I have lots and lots of friends in their 40s, 50s, 60s even, that are spending a lot of time on TikTok. This is where it's going. So definitely use TikTok to grow your brand. If you're just getting started, think about using ads. Think about using influencers and working with influencers. You know, influencers have been growing throughout social media and internet in the last 5 years, but in the last year, and specifically with TikTok, we've seen the enormous emergence of influencers. There are, I mean, just in my apprentices, in my couple hundred, college students that work for us, we have multiple people that I would call influencers that have tens of thousands of followers. So my 19-year-old cousin has 700,000 followers on TikTok. It's really become a thing. So thinking about partnering with influencers that are in your niche, that are working with have passions that align with your verticals, with your categories of business, is really valuable. Of course, doing a duet with a trending video can be a super great way to get attention. Creating content around trending songs. I mentioned trending audio. That's probably the number one way I would recommend utilizing TikTok to grow your brand presence. Using the right hashtags, as we talked about, tapping in no more than, I would say, like even on TikTok as well, 3 to 5 hashtags per post. Making sure you're engaging with your audience, right? Communication continues to be a two-way stream, and the marketers that get this best will understand the importance of engaging and listening to and responding to and commenting on their followers' stuff. Think the platinum rule: do unto others as they would want done to them. So don't just think of your fans and followers as prospects. Think of them as people too that you can engage with and you can interact with and you can follow and you can comment on. And there are lots of creative ways to use TikTok. So TikTok is just videos. So think about maybe, Sam and I are going to pull a clip from this webinar to post on our TikTok channel. So how can you think about podcasts and webinars and using them even in your TikTok and in your Instagram Reels? Here are some examples of some businesses that are using TikTok to build small businesses that are using TikTok. Slate & Tell, a jeweler, fashion retailer, and a university. And I will say, again, things change a lot in the world of social media and content marketing quickly, but we're seeing massive ability to reach people, both organically and with TikTok ads. Really nice results here. And let's take a look.
Common resume writing questions.
Great. So just 15
Four
seconds.
ways to style our Celeste.
Thank you, Sam. Just 15 seconds from Francesca from Apprentice, and adding value. Like I mentioned before, the importance of adding value. And she's also leveraging a trending audio in that video. So we've got short, leveraging trending audio, adding value for the target audience. That was that was a recruitment video. So we were recruiting the best and brightest college students for Apprentice with that TikTok. And let's take a look at this jewelry one.
Earrings. For style 1, we're just pulling it through our piercing as we would normally. For style 2, try switching out your regular cartilage piercing for our Celeste earring. It gives such an elevated look. For style number 3, pull the earring through the back side of your piercing and then weave it over until your second piercing. Pull it through and even it out. This is such a unique way to style this earring. For style number 4,
okay, so again, adding value, being useful, and leveraging trending audio to promote our brands on TikTok.
4
Common
ways to
resume
style.
So a quick case study from Apprentice, our sponsor for today's free webinar. Sydney and Bradley both worked with Zen Media to take over the TikTok account, took the TikTok account from 150 views per video to over 2,500 views. Really impressive, 1,500% growth. With Apprentice, what we are often doing is pairing folks that can help with areas of your business that typically you need help with. And one of those areas is often TikTok and Instagram and social media. If you want to learn more about how you can use an Apprentice for your TikTok channel, go to scheduleapprentice.com. We're doing a really cool offer actually with this webinar. Every single person from this webinar that schedules a call, all you have to do is schedule a call and show up. You don't have to buy anything. If you schedule a call and you show up, you'll get a free copy of the latest edition of Likeable Social Media, my New York Times bestselling book. And you'll also get 50% off your first month with Apprentice if you do choose to move forward with us. So really cool opportunity right there. Let's talk about Instagram. So I think the two most important social networks, this is broadly speaking, because again, the most important social network for your business is going to depend on where your audience is and who your customers are. That being said, broadly speaking, the way I see the trends going for 2022, TikTok and Instagram, specifically Instagram Reels, this idea of video, short video content are the most important social networks to be thinking about. A shout out to Jordan Mayerson, who says, happy Apprentice client here. We didn't even plan that. I didn't even give you a discount, Jordan. Thank you so much, Jordan, for your kind words. Okay, back to the business here. So Instagram for your brand, post unique, engaging content. Get on a consistent posting schedule. Again, you cannot post once and then disappear. It's really important to be consistent. Use Instagram Live, Reels, and Stories. So if you are, dare I say, old school, you're thinking about Instagram from posts. But the way most content is consumed on Instagram now is through stories and through Reels. So that is, you cannot schedule stories and reels yet. Nor do I necessarily recommend it because it has that sort of instant live feel to it. That's really important. So make sure you're sharing stories and reels. And unfortunately, stories only last for 24 hours. So the answer to how often to post stories is like literally every day. Sorry, but it's true. It's really important to post stories pretty much every day. Use industries hashtags, like I mentioned before, 3 to 5 hashtags for better discoverability. You want to be discovered by people that are looking for your hashtag. So think about what hashtags your customers would use. Track your analytics. There are lots of great tools, including Instagram itself, that can help you track your analytics. And invite influencers to collaborate with you, maybe even take over your Instagram, or certainly collaborate with you, just like with TikTok. Influencers and what I would call micro influencers, folks that maybe don't have a million. Here's the thing. You know how I said you don't need 1 billion people on Facebook to on ads? You want to reach the right 1,000? Nobody on this webinar needs Kim Kardashian to post about your brand on Instagram. None of you. Zero. Forget Kim Kardashian. Forget influencers with millions of followers. You don't need it. And they're not going to listen to you. They're not going to pay attention to you. But guess who will pay attention to you? An Instagram influencer with 10,000 followers that is really into your content, your product, your stuff, your industry. So think about micro influencers, niche influencers. Even, you want to know what term I just heard the other day, which is amazing? Nano influencers. Maybe they only have 200 followers, but those 200 followers are super engaged, and all they do is, and you're a I don't know, you specialize in translating Greek literature, and so you find an influencer that all they do is post about Greek literature to their 200 followers that are super engaged. Okay, that's a pretty important influencer for you to reach, and they only have 200 followers. So think less about the number of followers that influencers have and more about the overlap between what your influencers write about and post about and what their followers are into and what it is that you do or sell. And giveaways are great. We love giving stuff away, which is why we are doing that on this webinar as well. Here's an example of a restaurant, Freddie USA, regularly using images of followers and making them part of their brand story on Instagram. We really wanted to show you examples of small businesses. So that's one. Here's an accounting firm. And, you know, I know that we always have B2B companies that are saying, well, what about us? What do we do? How do we do content on Instagram that's interesting? I don't know what pictures to share. Well, here is an accounting firm that's talking about paying taxes on cryptocurrency, a video about that. I don't know about you guys, but as somebody that owns a bunch of crypto, I want to watch that video. I want to learn about that. Heck, my accountant, I love my accountant, but what the heck does he know about crypto taxes? I don't think he knows anything about it. So that would get my attention personally. And so how can you create content and be a thought leader, even in the B2B space on Instagram, that creates content that your followers, your prospects, your customers would want to see? Okay, a couple more questions. And I think I want to keep, no, I'm not going to keep it moving. I'm going to answer your questions, guys, because I'm here for you. So Katrina wants to know, why would influencers want to help a newbie? Again, to be clear, Kim Kardashian doesn't want to help you, but guess who might want to help you? Influencer with 1,000 followers that doesn't get requests all day long. They don't get requests all day long. And why else would they want to help you? Because you're going to send them free products, or you're going to help them for free. That's cool. I get a lot of free stuff sent to me. That's cool. I guess I'm an influencer. I have 800,000 followers or so. I get free stuff, and I write about and post about companies for them all the time. So yeah, don't be afraid to do that. Paola wants to know what the do's and don'ts for giveaways are. Well, make sure that you are following all the rules and regs of the platform that you are giving the the product or service away on. That's what I would say. Ultimately, I can't give you all the do's and don'ts, but certainly make sure you're following all the rules, and make sure you have enough people that are in your audience that the giveaway makes sense, right? So you're not going to give away a trip to, you're not going to give away a 7-day cruise if you have 10 followers. That's probably not going to make sense yet. John wants to know, how do you find micro influencers and reach out to them? I think hashtags are a really good way to find those micro influencers. So search for the hashtags and find people that are using the hashtags and have, X number of followers. I advise folks to really think about your goals and your scope when you're thinking about just how big do you want to go, right? So for some of you watching, you want to reach out to micro influencers with 80,000 followers. To others, that might be not that valuable. You might want 200,000 followers. And to still others, you're thinking, I'm just getting started. I think it would be really valuable for me to reach out to influencers with 3,000 followers, because those 3,000 followers might be some of the right people to be my first 50 customers, right? Remember, we don't need to reach 1 million people. If you're a small business owner, you don't need 1 million customers. You probably need 10, 20, 100, 1,000. There's probably no one on this call that needs to get more than, say, 10,000 customers next year, right? So that means that you don't need influencers with more than 100,000 followers. No way do you need that. Okay, Duncan, great point in the chat. Thank you for sharing. Let's keep it moving because we got lots of content still. Told Sam we had so much content here, but better to have too much content than not enough. Let's talk about LinkedIn for a moment. Most important in B2B space, but growingly important in pretty much every space, right? Even if you're B2C, I would say thinking about LinkedIn to leverage media, to leverage potential investors, to leverage potential employees. LinkedIn is a really, really valuable and growing platform. So make sure you optimize your LinkedIn company page, publish content regularly, use LinkedIn analytics, leverage LinkedIn groups and communities. Love networking with LinkedIn groups. LinkedIn ads, I find massively expensive, but depending on the value of your customer, LinkedIn ads can be really valuable. So I've used LinkedIn ads for our Celebrating.live corporate holiday party business, right? So we're selling products that are $20,000, $30,000. So of course it's worth using a LinkedIn ad, even if it costs me a few $100. And we've even used LinkedIn ads very, very successfully with Apprentice as well. So think about LinkedIn ads, but I'll warn you, they are very expensive. Use showcase pages, grow your network connections, and continue to position yourself as a thought leader. I think if I've done one thing well and one thing alone, it's that I've done a pretty nice job on LinkedIn positioning myself as a thought leader. Keeping it moving, Sam, lots of stuff to do. Okay, let's take a look at Uber as an example for how they publish content on LinkedIn. Love what they're doing. And as another Apprentice case study using LinkedIn, Brando has been working with the American Flag Football League. Yes, there is another national football league besides the NFL. Love what the American Flag Football League is doing. And over 3 months, he's edited and managed over 32 hours of video content, live streaming across the social media channels, including LinkedIn. And he was helpful in the AFFL getting to a $6 million data distribution deal and starting a podcast with an influencer with 2.8 million followers on TikTok. So kudos to you, Brando, and thank you to our friends at the American Flag Football League for believing in Apprentice. Alex Rohn, another really cool case study. She began managing the social media content for Here, and over the course of several months, she built up a relationship with our client where she actually went from being social media manager and helping drive over 1,000 new Instagram followers to being our client's co-founder. And nothing makes me happier than when our apprentices become entrepreneurs themselves. I mean, holy cow, how cool is that? And again, if you all want to learn about using an apprentice for Instagram or anything that we're talking about today, visit scheduleapprentice.com and schedule a call, and you will get automatically a free copy of Likeable Social Media, New York Times bestseller, 3rd edition, up to the minute, latest and greatest on Likeable Social Media, as well as 50% off your first month if you join us. Okay. We are moving on to email marketing, and I am going to pass the torch to my amazing, fantastic partner and head of sales and marketing at Apprentice, and former, just a year ago, he was an apprentice himself. How cool is that? Sam Nesbitt, take it away, sir.
Hey, it's so exciting. Email marketing. The great thing about email marketing is this is where we start to find that integration between marketing and sales. And email marketing is still content, and it's still adding lots of great content and everything that Dave has just discussed earlier. So I'm not going to go into what makes a great email, because it's kind of the same as what makes a great blog, what makes a great article. There's a few differences, but overall, having adding value, educating, being consistent, it's all the same. The key thing with email marketing is having a lead bait. So actually using email marketing to generate leads and therefore eventually generate customers. A bait is basically an enticement. It's a way of using a valuable resource and to use that to target your visitors or your viewers or your prospects' life, people, and making their life better. So you nurture your email leads and then you create a funnel. So I'm going to go into a little bit more detail as I walk through the deck. But essentially, the key thing here is different content, different pieces of content suggest different pieces of value or different problems that you might be solving. And as you walk them through that problem over content, over emails, you can then bring them closer along the buyer journey to eventually becoming a customer. So we like to use tools like MailChimp or HubSpot and keep someone accountable for this, because the easy thing with email newsletters is it's very easy to forget and to just not do. And the same thing with posting on Instagram, the same thing with posting on blogs. It has to be consistent, it has to be regular. Because if you post or email every 2 months and it's not consistent, it doesn't match your brand, it is not going to be as effective as it is going to be doing it regularly. The key thing with an email, and really the same with any piece of content, but definitely with emails, is having a clear CTA. To move them along the buyer journey. And those CTAs can really be anything. I mean, one of the things I'm going to talk about is about how to use content to bring people into other pieces of content. So sending an email newsletter and then sending, hey, whoever, here's 7 great tips for content marketing, but you're only going to put the top 3 in the email, but then you're going to have a download link or a landing page link in the email to redirect the customers there to basically move them along. Any sense of engagement, any sense of commitment is going to make those leads more hot, more qualified. And then what we do with that, similarly with email newsletters, similarly with blogs, is using lead magnets. So using downloadable content to create leads. So as an example, you could create a great blog. You could create great content on your LinkedIn or on your Instagram or on your Facebook. But those might not be leads because you might not know who those people are. Now, of course, you can retarget people. And that's something that we do at Apprentice, is that we retarget people that go to our blog. We retarget people that go to our website. But the thing with downloadable content like tip sheets, cheat sheets, ebooks, industry reports, is you get their information. You get their leads, you get their emails. And it suggests that there are different points along the buying process that are relevant to the content that you're posting. So what it can tell you is, with one piece of content, let's say you're a law firm and the piece of content is, how do I emigrate to the USA? That tells you that they're a prospect, they have a pain, they want to know how to emigrate to the USA. It tells you they're looking for solutions. So they're actively looking for ways. Now, different piece of content will tell you how much or how little they are looking for solutions. So if your piece of content is 7 tools or 7 law firms based in the Midwest or based in a random state, DC or Brooklyn, then that means they are actively looking for solutions. That's very different to them looking for, how do I fill in forms for an embassy appointment or for immigration. And then we start to go further along the funnel. Maybe you call the leads, maybe you look them up on LinkedIn and you can see if they're a good fit or not. And that's when you start to qualify. So 3 ways to share content and engage with new audiences, because email newsletters are great, but of course, obviously there's whole GDPR and everything. So sometimes it's very hard to expand your email newsletter. But ways that you can do that is, 1, through paid ads like targeted ads, Google ads. LinkedIn is particularly effective when it comes to content. So typically people like to use Google ads or LinkedIn ads or Facebook ads to get conversions. So this is great for B2C, by the way. So if you are selling a product that immediately people are going to see and people are going to want to buy, then maybe that is all you want to do. All you want to do is run ads for people to go and buy the product. But in the case of B2B and long sales funnels, that's going to be very difficult. So what you're going to do instead, or what you might want to do instead, and what we do at Apprentice, is you might run an ad to download an ebook. And then you might retarget those people to download another ebook. And then you might finally retarget those people to schedule a call. You could do the same thing here with your following. So Dave does this really well with his personal branding and with his LinkedIn, but you can also create podcasts, YouTube and TikTok. I put this under following because this is a really organic way to build an audience and to share content. And then finally, organic is through SEO. And that's really through writing great articles. And Dave is, when you search Dave Kerpen content, there's like 1 million pieces of content available on the internet. And somewhere when you search content, Dave Kerpen will appear and one of his businesses will appear. And that's really what you can do to start generating leads or start generating traffic without having to rely on the expensive LinkedIn ads. So just some examples, Slack, Gong, all of these SaaS companies do this really well, where you'll see these ads for downloading a resource. What it does is it means that when you're not just directing scheduled calls, it means that you can get more leads, which you might not otherwise be able to do, because more people are going to want to click and download an ebook than they might want to necessarily schedule a call. And that's just because people are at different stages in the buying process. Doesn't mean they're not qualified. It doesn't mean those leads should be neglected. It just means that they're going to be treated differently, and maybe it might be a little bit longer before they become a customer. Here's an example of Dave's likable leaders, which he ran on his LinkedIn. And then here's an example of a blog, again, from Dave Kerpen. Lots of Dave Kerpen.
Way too much Dave Kerpen, Sam, if I say so myself, but that's
growing your blog can be really important. You can educate your customers, you position yourself as a go-to resource and a thought leader, can establish yourself as an authority, but also, again, you can grow SEO so you aren't relying on ads, and you're leveraging specific pain points. And this is really key. So as I kind of mentioned previously, if the article is, how do I schedule content on online or on social media, then people like HubSpot and Sprout are going to leverage that, and they're going to build SEO juice so they can target their products. Another way to build SEO through blogs is actually getting on other people's articles. So Dave is, features on Inc., features on Forbes. And this way, if you're, redirecting and your business or your company is being mentioned in other people's articles, it will help grow your SEO as well. Consistently sharing your blogs on social. So here's a really great thing about blogs is, so you aren't just relying on everyone else's pieces of content. It means that you have content for your social media. So as we kind of spoke about earlier, it can be hard to think about, what do I want to post on social media every day? But if you are posting blogs all the time, that's also content for your Instagram and content for your Facebook. And you can use it in your email. So again, you can have that. Here's one great tip on generating leads on LinkedIn. To learn more, check out this blog that we've just posted, and you can put that in an email. And then finally, I love to do this at Apprentice, and I highly recommend other people do this in their sales cycle, is using it to educate your prospects throughout the entire journey. Sometimes, you can have a sales call, maybe they're not ready to move forward. That doesn't mean you should neglect them. That means that if you've built tons of resources and tons of blogs, that's a reason to reach out. You're not just reaching out to say, hey, let's jump on a call. When are you ready to move forward? It's, hey, I know we spoke about you wanting to grow your social media. Here's a great article on doing that. And then finally, similarly to the emails, creating a CTA at the end. So if everyone's viewing your blog, that's not great if they're not, moving on to different pages in your site to become a lead and to fill in a form or to schedule a call. So including CTAs can mean, including other articles, including sign up to webinars or downloadable content like an ebook, but also doing that in hyperlinks. So not just putting that at the end of the blog, because the funny thing is not everyone reads the full blog. I don't. I skim read it. And sometimes I might read 1, 2, and 3 of the 7 top tips. So as long as you're including hyperlinks for CTAs, like, we are doing a webinar or here's a downloadable content, then you're more likely to get those leads than, for everyone the 30% that might read the full blog and get to the bottom. Top 3 CTAs that I love and that I think they've been proven to be the most effective is signing up for webinar. The reason why this is really key is because, as an example, we post a blog on content strategy or how to post your content for 2022. You're reading that article, great news. We're also doing a webinar to learn more about this, because the people that have been actively targeted for those blogs are going to be the same people you want on your webinar. Same thing with the sign up for a newsletter. You want to learn more about great tips for content, sign up to our newsletter. We've done a great ebook on content strategy, which I'm going to share with everyone after this call, after this webinar. Download the ebook. And that turns blogs from just being, numbers on traffic to actually being email addresses and phone numbers. Here's a case study of Sam, who has really helped grow the SEO of his company, Predictable Profits, through growing blogs. And I think this is something that a lot of people, again, neglect. Everyone knows the importance of blogs, but getting around to writing, getting around to doing it can sometimes be difficult. Utilizing landing pages. So all of this is great, but at the end of the day, if you are using LinkedIn ads, you are using Facebook ads to target ebooks, to target webinars, you've got to have a good landing page as well. Because if you don't, then essentially you're just going to lose those potential leads, because maybe they look at maybe it looks a bit dodgy, maybe the site doesn't look great, maybe it's slow. And the key thing with landing pages is creating those niches with your core customers, with your target customers, and with your target product. So, for us, it could be marketing for law firms. That's a very specific niche that we might have a landing page for that might grow through SEO. Well, hopefully grows through SEO. You can target through ads. And some ways of doing that is, keeping it clean and organized, using a compelling header, having trust signals and showing that your brand is trustworthy, and obviously tailoring it to your audience. And of course, making it mobile friendly. I mean, I very rarely will visit these things or check my newsletters and emails when I'm on my desk because I'm working. I tend to do it on my phone. I tend to be in bed in the morning and I get an email for a newsletter, or I see an ad on LinkedIn, and that's when I'm most likely to engage. And that's exactly why making sure it's mobile optimum these days is just so key. And same thing with the iPads as well, as a lot of people use tablets. And then finally, test and track your results. So this is why things like ClickFunnels, ActiveCampaigns, HubSpot, even MailChimp do landing pages is so effective, is because you can track everything. And being able to do this is going to give you really good indications of what landing pages work, what piece of content work. And as I get into this slide, which is my most exciting slide, because I'm a huge nerd when it comes to automation and workflows, it's been really important to us being able to scale, is tracking is going to become even more key. So now that you've got these leads, great, what do you do? Well, the best time to reach out to your leads is within the first 5 minutes that they sign up or they register. Keep sales outreach really related to the content. That's the beauty of content, is it tells you their needs, it tells you their pains, it tells you their problems, it tells you their goals. So if you're reaching out to a lead on content, many salespeople do this. And I would say some of our salespeople are guilty of it themselves. We try and avoid it. Is you have a lead from a webinar, you have a lead from an ebook, and then you say, hey, I would love to tell you more about Apprentice. I'd love to tell you more about my business. You have a great opportunity to leverage what it is that they're looking at, what it is they're downloading. So respond and say, hey, I saw that you downloaded a piece of content around strategies for generating leads. I'm curious to know why you downloaded it. What's interesting about it? What are you currently doing in your business to generate more leads? So the way that we do that through automations of things like Zapier, things like HubSpot can make that process really, really quick. And also assigning your leads appropriately. So as you do scale, maybe different pieces of content might target a different customer, and maybe a different customer targets a different salesperson. And that's something that we're doing, here, is that I've made sure that our assignment is pretty much laid out based on the type of content people are downloading, the type of customers we're reaching. And just some examples of what we might do with a LinkedIn ad, where people might use that. This LinkedIn ad is for requesting a demo, and we have this whole process for assigning our AEs. And then what it does, it also sends an email not only to the person that's put in their form, put in their details, but also the AE or the SDR to say to reach out immediately. So they do it within the first 5 minutes. And similarly, you can do all this cool stuff and workflows in HubSpot. I won't go too into that, otherwise everyone will get very bored. But as an example, this is something that we have set up, is as soon as a LinkedIn lead for a call request is made, our sales rep will get an email with the name, the company, the email, the phone, the information in HubSpot, and it says, call now. And then it says, reminder, create a sequence within HubSpot and add the call notes. And then this is an email example that goes out to our prospects. So really the key thing here is really timing, its efficiency. As you scale, as you grow, these processes might seem quite simple. Maybe you're only generating 10 inbound leads a month. So it's quite easy to get those leads, call them up, and then do whatever you might do. But as you start generating hundreds of pieces of content, and you might be dealing with thousands of prospects, or maybe you might have ever so many sales reps, it might not be today, But when it does happen, building the foundations of, integrating your content with your sales strategy is important. And it also just means that you feel that ability to let the system do its work and to generate leads and generate customers. So that's all from me. I will pass it over back to Dave.
Thank you. We'll take your questions now, and at the end of questions, we're going to give away a copy of Likeable Social Media, and I'm going to throw in a copy of my more recent book, The Art of People: 11 Simple People Skills That Will Get You Everything You Want. We'll do a random drawing for somebody that posts in the chat. So post a question, post a comment in the chat. Everyone who posts starting now will be eligible to win our grand prize giveaway of a copy of Likeable Social Media, as well as a copy of The Art of People. Gideon asked a while back, why is analytics actually important? And I think that's a really good question. I think analytics is really important because it allows you to understand where you are doing well and where you can make improvements. It allows you to understand whether what you're doing is working or not. It allows you to understand more about your customers. It allows you to understand more about your prospects. And like I said, it allows you to understand what content is resonating and what content is resonating less with whom. So analytics, very, very important for those reasons and more. Okay, I'm going to take any more of your questions here, and then just 120 seconds, I'm going to give away our grand prize. Sam, is there one more slide on the offer that we've got? I'm going to pull up that offer if we can.
Yes, let me pull it up.
Okay, fantastic. While we do that, what top metrics do you recommend monitoring success off of? Great question, Molly. At the end of the day, it's a funnel. Success is really measured on EBITDA, how much money you actually make. Okay, and then if I go backwards, before EBITDA comes revenues. Before revenues comes customers. Before customers comes leads. Before leads comes qualified social media followers, okay? Email subscribers, page views, engagement rates. These are all metrics starting at the very bottom, how much money you make, all the way up to the very top. How many people know who you are, see your stuff, notice you? And everything in between ultimately is a valuable metric along the way. Kelly asks, regardless of industry, how many channels do you suggest a business manage? Industry matters, Kelly. You knew I was going to say that. Industry matters, and scale matters, right? If you're a big company, if you're say 10 million or more in revenues, you should probably be on every channel. Sorry, but you should. I would say if you are, just starting out, well, I would focus on just one channel, the one channel where the vast majority of your prospects are. So ultimately, unfortunately, I don't have an easy answer except to say that you got to be on all the channels where your customers are. And depending on the size of your company and the scope and scale of your company, that's how I would think through just how many channels you should be on. Sergio asked, do you use a software to analyze LN contacts and leads? Sam, do you know what LN stands for? I don't.
LinkedIn content, LinkedIn contacts.
Software to analyze LinkedIn contacts and leads. I do not. Sam, do we have a software to analyze?
We do. There's a ton. We use HubSpot. And the reason why I at the risk of basically sounding like a salesperson for HubSpot, which I kind of am at this point, but with HubSpot, you can analyze that in the whole process between them as a lead, them as a website click, to when they fill in the form and then when they become a customer. It's all integrated in that one CRM. But also you can do it in LinkedIn itself.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to take 3 more questions max, then we're going to do our grand prize giveaway of the book. So last chance to post a comment or question in the chat. Tori's from Miami. She's a social impact accelerator, wants to know some tips about sharing for nonprofits and social impact related stuff versus traditional brand marketing. I don't think it's that different. I think that what I will say is that in the nonprofit and social impact space, you have massive opportunity to tap into that emotional resonance. My favorite example is Charity Water. If you haven't seen all of Charity Water's content and social media and videos, definitely look at them. They do an amazing job. Scott Harrison, a great friend of mine, he's done an amazing job. He and his wife, Vic. For nonprofit social impact accelerator or company, really think about that emotional resonance and use video content to resonate with your customers, or not with your customers, with your followers, with your donors, with your people you serve. Okay, final question. Well, I can't make this the final question because it's such a setup. Thank you, Katrina. Katrina asked, what exactly do your apprentices do for your entrepreneurs? Is it sold through modules? So they really do. There's 4 categories of apprentices. Sam, I don't know if how easily you can switch to the 4 categories of apprentices, but if you can, great. If not, no. The 4 categories that our apprentices support our entrepreneurs in are digital marketing, business development and sales, data and analytics, and operations and general administration. So our apprentices specialize in each of those 4 categories, and then there's a wide variety of tasks that they do for their entrepreneurs. Thank you, Sam. Very, very nicely done. In these 4 categories. So you can see for our operations apprentices, they're focused on project management, admin, business strategy, problem solving, coordination, and logistics. For marketing, it's a lot of the stuff that we talked about today: content creation, social media, web design, blog writing. For biz dev, it's more prospecting, research, lead gen, CRM management. For data analytics, it might be modeling, budget creation, data science, data visualization, etc. So a wide variety of very high level tasks that our apprentices are working on. Like I said, I cannot make that the last question because that was a salesy setup question. Thank you again. Chris Gabriel, Uplead, and Lucia Oaks. He's actually answering a question. She's answering my point. Why only 3 to 5 hashtags? Great question, Craig. Instagram's algo, Instagram saw that people were sharing a ton of hashtags, and they basically punished people that were sharing too many hashtags by hurting if you share more than 5 hashtags, they're going to penalize you in their algo. You're going to be seen less. So that's the short answer to that question. You'll have to trust me on that. And these things change. They're a moving target, very much so. But for now, 3 to 5 is your recommendation. Okay, with that, we don't have any more time. I got to give away a book. I'm going to give away 2 books, actually. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to choose the 7th person from the bottom of my screen starting now, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kristen Gabriel, you're our winner. Kristen Gabriel, you win not 1 but 2 books, courtesy of your good friends at Apprentice. Y'all, if you haven't visited our link to sign up for a call and get a free copy of the book is it scheduleapprentice.com, Sam? I think it is.
Scheduleapprentice.com.
Scheduleapprentice.com for your free book and to talk to one of Sam's amazing AEs. Until next time, keep your content strategy rolling for 2022. And have a happy holiday season.